Okay, third time lucky. Yeah. Basically, long story short, been pissing about. Didn't do great. I don't feel in the last uh, video that I did, and I'm about to share it. Give it a 6.75 out of 10. Didn't present the arguments well. Not that it's debate and whatever, but just the thoughts I had in my head, I didn't articulate them well, and also I just wasn't. I was just shit, man. So we're gonna have a little review of it. Once I figure out how to share my screen, and you can join in and tell me why you were shit. I wasn't shit, man, but it was just. Let's just watch it, bro. Is this thing actually black? Guys, this thing. Yo, this shit's a shambles, man. Right. God, man, this shit's crazy, bro. Right. Just chill there, innit? We're gonna have to resort to previous measures. 'Cause this computer's failing today. Blah, 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 blah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, look, it's not even. It's not showing anything, is it? Mm-mm-mm. Mm. All right, I'm definitely live because last time it was yeah, last time I went live in private apparently. Yeah, fuck you know. Guys, what am I doing, man? Alright, quick. Let's pull this shit back together real fast. Real fast. I just put skip to whatever minutes in the thing in it. Let's hope it doesn't lag. Okay, we're about 10 seconds away. Yeah, 2 watching, right? So I must be actually live in it. What the flip? What's going on? I'm live in it, you guys. Yeah, yeah, pretty sure. Public, yeah. Okay. Okay. Just add it to the screen. My internet's just playing up today. It's a bit of a problem as well. Why is it? Lol, I've got it open twice. Okay. It's quite something, this one. Alright. Share. Now we're talking. Alright, I'm just going to check the audio so then we're good to go. I have to drop the 1080p.
It is a genuine question.
I'm looking forward. You've got me on my toes here. I'm laughing because there's no answer that you won't take several hours. If they invaded,
What's on the other side?
then you should recognize that the other side is
Yeah,
is a
testing,
different entity. What does it mean?
testing,
Become a member? Can I
test.
become a member?
I heard Hamas civilians once.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Whoa,
No
testing.
sub-state actor. Terrorist group called whatever
Okay,
has been
perfect.
defeated across borders
Good.
by force alone. It has never happened.
Go for it, Johnny.
Right, we don't
Introduce
need to
yourself then.
stick-
I
preview,
everyone is catching this on Omar's channel. If you're interested
Welcome, guys. This is just a review or a critique, a self-critique.
Omar.
On Alan's channel, come and you can
Stop
come on and
knocking
thinking
the
about things.
camera, you
My,
moron, man.
That's
Let's
why
start.
I've got you on. And maybe look a full.
A couple years ago, I realized my field of research.
As far as civilians are concerned, let's just stick to children, though, can we? Because it's fair to say they're not part of Hamas, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the way.
Okay, I'm talking under like 13, let's say, even then.
Oh, that's the thing.
I can
On
preempt what I'm
the,
gonna say.
Okay, so most of my
have-
argument here
So we
is
can,
basically
Eliminate like the variables really.
Mhm.
So my question is really there's two it's in two parts. One, so we've agreed on that. Additionally, the IDF post October 7th early on, they cleared what they refer to as the Gaza Strip. The
was
Gaza
an envelope.
the numbers varied in terms of the evacuation.
the Israelis take. Right? Why can we've seen the state of the hospitals? We can discuss it further. But why can't they treat children, like 10-year-olds and younger, however you want to put it, in Israeli hospitals?
So, with the West Bank later, relates to the fact that there is no crossing that border between the sides, certainly since 2005, when Israel evacuated its settlements from the area. So, from a humanitarian standpoint, should children be allowed to, use what happened?
They can't. So, I don't think it's quite the same as any of these other conflicts in that sense.
On CNN, don't permit or
We won't see how it's not possible unless Hamas is going to physically prevent it. In which case, it's politically a win still. You offered it and look, they're firing at us. You could have said, look, listen, children under X age, women, will check them. You can stay in these empty houses, 60,000. I'll put your tents here. We're going to clear all the men out. I'm just trying to simplify it. Obviously, there's thousands and thousands of innocent men. I just don't see
Yeah, and there was a proposal by the IDF and Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant to set up a field hospital for children in the northern parts of the Gaza Strip, and there was also a proposal to set it up in Israel. It ended up being torpedoed by the Israeli government, primarily for political reasons. The Israeli government, was run. There's very, very hawkish right-wing elements.
Because the other thing I missed here was that I had previously is the other thing they could have done, as part of this sort of measure is they could have, again, it's all in theory, but if they use the, northern Israel, whatever you want to call the homes or whatever, that have been evacuated, which they say, like, I don't know, the estimates kind of change, don't they? But like 60 to 100,000, 80,000, whatever. Point is, tens of thousands of people have fled from northern Israel into like central. They could have put civilians from Gaza temporarily there as well. Obviously, Hezbollah is not going to fire rockets on Gazans in the north of Israel or on the border there, are they? So anyway, that's a bit of a minor one. His answer and explanation covers both. Covers it regardless, I guess. Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to refute anything Alan's saying here. I'm just critiquing myself lack shitty articulation, and also it just wasn't very thorough. So it needs improving on my part. I'm just kind of speed looking through that at the moment.
That's within the government that ended up
Feel free to tell me where I did shit as well.
torpedoing that idea. But again, to ask why or why not, when you have a conflict where people are some sort of collateral damage to non-involved, again, we could discuss maybe war is immoral unto itself. But in that sense, yes, I think from a human standpoint, would it be better to not have children in harm's way? Absolutely. Do I think that it's unique that Israel did not actually manage to push this through politically, or that when Israel called upon Palestinian civilians to evacuate from northern Gaza, that Hamas threatened to shoot them if they did? Do I think that that's humane? No. Do I think it's surprising? Also no. Within this conflict, both sides are doing a lot of horrible things.
I've never actually heard that. What do you mean, man? There's always room for software. Hard to tell how things turn out. Yeah, it's true, man, but it's also good to sort of reflect. I don't know. I feel like this was like considerably shitter than I should have done. So yeah, so I'm just having a look, man. I mean, I'm a bit embarrassed to ask Alon to do another video because the last one, you know, I've not put any real effort into sharing it or anything. So, you know, it's someone's time, so I'm not going to do that anytime soon until I sort of sort myself out on the YouTube thing, make my own effort. But yeah, I'd follow up. I'd like to follow up questions and so on. Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of looking at that now as well, where I could have done.
Yeah, so just to wrap that up there then. So am I right in saying it's physically possible but politically impossible? Or it was?
Yeah,
mean,
we'll
it
skip
depends-
through that one because I've kind of gone through that, haven't I? What do you reckon, Vlad, though? Sorry, Vlad. Did you catch me on my live or whatever on the like Tommy Robinson live? I think, yeah.
And within the context of the conflict, I think both sides have not put the good of uninvolved combatants at the top of their agenda. Let's just put it that way. That's the lightest way I can try to put it.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll move on to the second one. It sort of links in, and we did speak about it briefly, so it might be a bit quicker.
Yeah, thank you,
discussion.
Vlad.
I'll take out the word
Appreciate that.
coward, I know, because
Appreciate that.
it's not necessarily a judgment call, but just for the viewers, we often hear Hamas are, cowards who hide behind civilians. And, the IDF evacuated 1 million civilians to the south of the Gaza Strip.
First months of the war, the evacuation orders were issued on October 13th, and the IDF invaded on October 27th, and the massive evacuation of Palestinians from northern Gaza past the Wadi Gaza area to southern Gaza was, roughly October, November.
Right.
So, it was
And
300,000 who stayed behind.
Yeah, and there were large clashes here. There were a lot of Hamas members, in combat, striking back and forth with the IDF in the north.
Absolutely.
They didn't move, where there was now 2 million. So you had the south with about 2 million. Is that roughly right?
Yeah, maybe a
Civilians.
little less than, but we're talking about 100,000.
Like 1.92 million in the south. There's around 300,000 in the north, but they're fighting in the north.
That was until December was the
Because the other point
fighting
here
war.
is that I missed really is it's not as simple as Hamas didn't move with all the civilians, which is really how I articulate the question, because even as far as I'm aware, and this is something I should have brought up and asked Alon for his his knowledge on. As far as I'm aware, the IDF they break down Hamas into 24 different brigades. You've down the south, you got the Rafah brigade and so on. And so to say those in northern Gaza, like we were explaining here, the IDF evacuated all the civilians. Those Hamas guys who were under the civilians, cowards hiding under the civilians, they remained where they were. So this wasn't a case of the brigades didn't necessarily move. Basically, is a question. It is my assertion, and I would phrase it as a question, right? Would you agree? As far as I'm aware, and in accordance with what the IDF say, also the northern brigades, however, whichever particular ones you're referring to, they didn't move. They didn't move with the civilian population. They stayed where they were and they fought. So this whole thing of hiding behind human shields, again, man, I didn't articulate well, but anyway.
Northern parts of the Gaza Strip.
Yeah,
Did a bit of shit now
well,
as
I'm just trying to question the notion of these guys are purely
get to
fighting
practice,
behind,
innit?
using human shields basically, because it's used so often. And my point is, as I say, if you've had like 50%, well 40% of the population move, right, and you don't move with them, and you are now fighting, it just doesn't quite fit the narrative.
I mean,
And the
Hamas
claim.
is a huge organization. Depending on different estimates, we're talking between
Shall I speed this
35
up,
and
do you think,
50,000 active fighters.
time-wise?
But
Is
the thing that has to be
1.5.
recalled is that Hamas is also, it's a government. It involves police officers. Basically, anyone who's part of the administration is technically part of
Is
Hamas.
that too
That's one of the
fast?
complicated
I don't
things you said
know.
before. You said, is he a Hamas member or not? As a post office, as a mailman, a Hamas member,
Maybe.
technically, yes, they're paid by the government. But attack is obviously not militants. In this case, what happened in the northern parts of the Gaza Strip, there were roughly 300,000 people who stayed behind for large varieties of reasons. Some of them simply could not evacuate. Just think, if any one of us was ordered, you now have a week or a day, get up and relocate everything. Guess what? You may have, but Hamas also instructed civilians not to evacuate. A lot of them did not evacuate. In addition to that, there are also people who stayed behind out of sort of a civic duty. Doctors, people out of evacuation as part of the fight. Not a civilian in northern parts of the Gaza Strip. No, But were there still civilians that were still part of the crossfire and part of the way in which combat was being held in the northern parts of the Gaza Strip? Unfortunately, absolutely.
So am I right in saying what you're saying is there's an
The human shield argument is very played out. I could apply that to any conflict, but those citizens don't have anywhere else to go. Their proximity to potential Hamas isn't even willing on their part. Potential. But okay, yeah, obviously I agree with you, but the thing is, we have to, I'm saying we, the royal we, or whatever, but I'm phrasing this question on behalf of Hamas, on arguing from the Hamas standpoint, not the civilian standpoint, because we're just assuming here, because we're analyzing what's being said and what's being done, right? That's what this conversation was about, and others will be about. So the argument from the IDF would be, that as you say there, Vlad, the proximity, for civilians to Hamas, it has nothing to, they don't have much autonomy there, really. But on the surface, no one's arguing about that. The argument is with regards to what is Hamas able to do and what are they choosing to do. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I mean there? So the argument is put forth here not from the civilians' standpoint, it's from the Hamas standpoint.
an element of it, but this isn't necessarily the core.
And we are buffering.
There's an element of it in to large extent in the tactics that Hamas uses. That doesn't mean that every single time there is a battle, that's what happens. There's a humanitarian zone, the Al-Mawasi humanitarian
Guys, what's
zone in the southern part of the Gaza Strip, the southwestern part. Now,
going on with this, man? I have to drop the quality even more. We've hit all-time lows here, honestly.
Hamas has been firing rockets from that humanitarian zone. One of the top-ranking, the leader of the
Mohammed Dave, I think he's gonna mention here.
The Al-Qassam Brigades, Muhammad Def, was located in the humanitarian zone. The IDF assassinated him there, killing a lot of innocent civilians too. Right? Wrong? Who's at fault? Is Muhammad Def a coward? Is he not? Is he hiding behind civilians? Again, all these things are judgment calls for how do we analyze the war. But the fact is he was in the humanitarian zone. Now, does that mean that all of Hamas activities are hiding behind civilians? No. Do they position a lot of their headquarters and a lot of their activities in areas that involve civilians? Yes. Does that mean that the IDF is right to strike at them? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. That's a political and a judgment call. And the rules of war also have an answer for that. But is it part of the overall strategy? I would argue yes. Does that mean that every single battle or conflict event happens behind civilians? No. We've seen Al-Qassam brigades, send out 2 troops, hide in an abandoned building, and fire missiles at IDF tanks. Those buildings didn't have civilians in them. There was a lot of battles that don't have civilians.
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't emphasize here. There's no shortage of that. There are literally, it has to be. Obviously, there's well over 100 videos. I mean, there's over 100 videos. Let's say there's over 100 videos of the Alon was saying the Al-Qassam brigades, firing directly, running up to tanks and so on. Many people who are, interested in this conflict, I guess. Conflict, man. You know what? You have to be so careful with words that you use, though, because basically, there are a lot of videos. They're also not shared a lot in the West as well. So, I really do. I should have emphasized or put across more strongly the evidence and the clear situations that we see where they're clearly not hiding behind human shields. And I don't know myself, and this is what I was trying to get Alon's perspective on it. And as I say, I don't think I did justice to what I've personally seen, and that might be off. Probably is off. To what extent, I don't know. Yeah. So basically, long story short, to what extent are they using human shields? To what extent intentionally, and to what extent are they fighting man to man? Man to tank. I don't know what the percentage is, man. Yeah, Vlad. I do applaud your great patience fighting the fight of information, man. Don't let the media think us. Don't let the media think us MAGA people ain't appalled by this and against it. The media is just, oh, okay. Are you? Oh, you know what, Vlad? You know I've got bad eyesight despite my glasses. So, are you like a MAGA Trump supporter? I'm guessing.
Civilians involved. But it is, to some extent, part of the overall tactic that has been used by Hamas in the war.
And they would probably argue it's to do with density and the besiege, the fact it's
Absolutely,
besieged and so on.
absolutely. They would argue that first of all, they don't have the space physically to set up bases and stuff in different areas. That's one argument. Another argument is that a little bit unlike Hezbollah, which is something we can talk about later, Hamas does perceive itself, and to some extent is because it was a functioning government.
So Alon makes some great points here, but what I could have added in here again is, Hamas and Hezbollah. Alon differentiates their positions slightly, but generally it's just terrorist is what you're told. Now Hezbollah, there's such a threat, there's such an existential threat to Israel. They've fired, this is what we were told, they've fired, I think it's like 6,000 or 8,000 rockets, at Israel, and they're trying to kill them, they're trying to kill all these Jews, but as far as I'm aware, they've killed less than probably 50 civilians or something like that. So either they're shit and they're not actually a real threat, they're being dealt with quite easily, or maybe they're not trying to kill all the civilians, I don't know. Man like Vlad soloing it in the chat. Yeah, for sure, he might be crude, but he stands for 1980s style America. The new wave trying to sell us out. We got 6 days left until we know who wins. Could get nasty. Yeah, man. You know what? I don't know. I just think he's a bit of a racist, man. But I kind of think they all are. So, I've never actually voted, Vlad. I'm not in the US, obviously, but I've actually never voted. I am on the electoral system in the UK, but I'm not doom and gloom about democracy necessarily, but it's a whole other topic. Maybe, I don't know. What I am, I would love to be actually be able to have a live conversation with you, Vlad, because I'm a bit of a recluse, if that's the right word, but I'm yet to meet a MAGA person. So this guy says some racist shit, though, no? He does say some outrageous shit, no? Mexicans, this and that, Muslim ban, I don't know. I think he's a dick personally, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, they all are. So I don't necessarily criticize you for supporting MAGA. I don't know why. Yeah, why? Go on, tell me, man. You know what? I'm rambling and sorry if I'm off topic and whatever. If anyone's watching this, but 1980 style. Talk to me about it. Tell me more. I'd like to learn.
As the government of the people, fighting for the people, and to some extent says we have a mandate.
Yeah, I think Alon makes some good points. So if anyone, obviously, go and watch the actual video on it. I'm just criticizing myself here, really.
A non-explosive bomb or something that just makes a bang.
Oh yeah, this was a null and dumb point that I made. That was swiftly dealt with by Alon.
No, but it's just basically questioning. Okay, what are Israel's borders, basically? Because the notion is that the countries don't agree.
There's one side says this, the side says that. Officially, what's known as the occupied Palestinian territories, the West Bank and the Gaza.
Okay, this is something key that I missed, right? Looking back, especially, and I'll show you here. Alon was bang on, he's got a lot of experience as well. And just to re-emphasize, this wasn't a debates conversation, but I'm just saying not to show him he's wrong or whatever, but just to reinforce what I'm trying to say and what my thoughts are. And then Alon, I'm sure, would have a good response. Maybe might agree, disagree, correct me, whatever, Basically, Alon explained the borders as far as the world considers them, and as far as Israel considers them, we'll just have a quick
Strip are
listen.
considered by international standards
I won't
as
put
official
words
category
into
called
his mouth.
disputed territories. Then we could say, so therefore this side said this side says that. Officially, the what's known as the occupied Palestinian territories, the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, are considered by international standards. There's an official category called disputed territories. That means that they don't belong to they don't belong to anyone that is recognized. They don't belong to one entity that is recognized internationally. And there's a lot of disputed territories. Turkey occupied Cyprus, Morocco occupied Western Sahara. There's a lot of areas that are considered disputed territories.
Yeah,
that's
Kashmir and so on. Yeah.
exactly. That's the official status that they have. Now, in 1967, Israel took over those areas and the borders expanded. However, they were never officially annexed, which is why, when you ask what Israel's borders are, technically, officially, Israel's recognized borders didn't change after the 1967 war, with the exception of East Jerusalem, that Israel annexed, and the Golan Heights, that Israel annexed, that took over from Syria. So,
East
West Bank,
So I should have asked him here.
Sure. Yes,
Okay.
East Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a divided city between 1948 and 67. Israel controlled the western part, and Jordan controlled the eastern part. And after 1967, when Israel takes over the West Bank from Jordan, it left the West Bank under occupation. So that still is considered, again, by officially in Israel and in the world, a disputed territory. East Jerusalem, Israel annexed. So Israel considers it is no longer disputed. The official borders of Israel were expanded. The world still considers East Jerusalem disputed territory. So
And I didn't pick up on that point. When you say Israel annexed, right? Illegally annexed? Did they illegally annex it? Would you deem that acceptable then in our discourse, in our analysis,
So that's one of those situations. Now, in the Gaza Strip was taken over from Egypt. However, again, the borders were not expanded. Israel did not officially annex it. And then in 2005, Israel pulled its settlements out of the Gaza Strip. And therefore, the area possibly was going to be handed over to the Palestinian Authority, was handed over to the Palestinian Authority, but the official zones of control weren't clear. Israel still controlled airspace, still controls the sea entrance, and all the land borders are controlled by Israel except for the Rafah crossing, which is controlled by, which is an entrance to Egypt. So, in that sense, is the Gaza Strip now a different country, or is it a part of Israel? On the one hand, Israel has no jurisdiction there by international standards, and does not actually operate a government there. And in 2007, Hamas takes it over. We can talk about that. Israel does not operate a government there. On the other hand, it does control the airspace. It controls all the sea access, and it does control roughly 80%, or let's say 3/4 of the land access. So, from an Israeli standpoint, is this, part of Israel? Most Israelis would probably argue, no, there's no need for Israel to have any jurisdiction there anymore.
Not trying to ignore you, Vlad. Yeah, Trump is far from perfect, and he is an outsider's politics. He shakes up the system and forces them to reach the extreme playbook. Once the status quo. Vlad, I take it, I'll just assume you're the average sort of person. Average, I don't know, working class, middle class person or whatnot. How does he help you? I mean, this guy's a billionaire, no? And he's just, I just think the whole thing's bullshit. Whoever gives the guy the most money, or any of these people the most money, and, they'll sing for you till the cows come home, if that's the right phrase, I don't know. Or saying, you know what I mean? I don't know. But so look, okay, he's an outsider to politics. He's shake up the system, extreme playbook. Okay. Why is he? What is his intention? What is his intention? What is Trump's intention? Why is he running? Is it for the betterment? Is it actually to make America great again? Is it genuinely that? I mean, from what you're saying, is he? My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, from what you said here, is that he's a bit of a catalyst, to, like a electric shock to the system to reset it, to get it right. So do you support him, or do you support the outcome? Is it like the means justify the ends? Like, you need someone like him to come in and shake shit up and get it, sort things out. But what's the issue? I mean, the issue I see with a lot of politics, is just money. It's just money. There's so much money involved. Like, what's the face? What that woman's name was, whose husband died or whatever in Israel, who's offering 100 million to Trump's campaign for the annexation of the West Bank. Like this. It's just money. Is he coming? Am I missing something? It's the same shit that they all do. He just does it to your face, and he's doesn't hide a lot of it. Yeah, right. And right, and if Israel can annex territory, then why is it different when Russia does it? Or even Germany in the past. Why? Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, your boy Trump is the only recognized East Jerusalem and the not the Golan, is it? Yeah, sorry, the Golan Heights, isn't it? In sort of southern Syria. So I don't know, man. Trump, man. I don't know, bro. If you're just joining, we're doing a self critique, or I am anyway, and you guys can
Israel
tell me
its
where I did shit
settlements,
as well.
and it shouldn't have anything to do with it. On the one hand, on the other hand, most Israelis are also not willing to hand it over to another entity, to a Palestinian state. So from Israel's standpoint, there's no real answer. It's left in limbo. In turn,
I just want to check. Did you say most Israelis? I don't know if you meant the government or the population.
part of Israel, most Israelis would probably argue, no, there's no need
Most
for Israel to have any jurisdiction there anymore. Israel
Oh,
evacuated
so
its
this is
settlements,
about Gaza.
and it shouldn't have anything to do with it. On the one hand, on the other hand, most Israelis are also not willing to hand it over to another entity,
Yeah,
to a
he's on
Palestinian
about.
state.
Okay, yeah,
So
he's
from Israel's
talking
standpoint, there's
about.
no
He is talking about civilians. I believe he does miss how America was, but he's also quite proud of what he's accomplished. Definitely unorthodox for a leader, but the norm has become primarily warmongers. But yeah, he's an ally, sadly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what has he accomplished, man? He's rallied a lot of people together. It's true. I mean, he's born into at least a millionaire. I don't know about billionaire. He's born into a multi-millionaire family. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Okay, you made a lot of money, man. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if. What's he accomplished? That we as the people, aspire towards. If it's bullshitting and I don't know. I just think morally any make a moral argument for Trump's achievements, his accomplishments, and so on. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not convinced. He did some great things for the low-income people of America, removing tax on things like tips, tax on overtime work, and even tax on social security. Typical tax cuts go to the rich. Typically, sorry. Okay, yeah. I'm not as I say, I'm not well acquainted with such laws in the US and how they've changed and whatnot. And on the surface, what you said there sounds great. So yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about that or criticism. But I do think he's a knob. But like if I was in the US, I don't know. Same as the UK, man. I've just never voted it. I've considered it, but then I can't bring myself to look at this person's name and be it, if I was in the US, Trump or whatever, Biden or Harris or whatever, or the UK, Starmer, and who was even running here against Sunak. Even though it's so inconsequential, yeah, if I said that right, I can't bring myself, like, morally to be like a part of it, man. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But by abstaining, that's also, I've also made a decision there, and there's accountability for that as well. So I don't know. He pardoned people with cannabis drug charges, including some major rappers. He did a lot to promote growth in black communities, despite what he says about them. So why does he say shit about them then? I don't know a whole lot about what he said, to be fair. Specifically about black communities. I know there's this talk about illegals and yeah, as I say, the Muslim ban, and yeah, I mean, yeah, what stands out there a bit, Vlad, is some major rappers, bro. Who gives a shit about? Sorry, not to be rude to you, but I couldn't care less if the person's who you're pardoning is famous or not. And actually, if it's a famous person you're pardoning, personally, I'm thinking, are you doing that so their fan base kind of supports you a bit more? You know, it's like getting an endorsement. You know what I mean? No, it's what are you doing for the people who no one cares about, like the shit rappers who no one listens to their music? Are you pardoning them? But Vlad, I'm learning, man. Thank you.
There's no real answer. It's left in limbo. In turn, from the rest of the world does not, or the majority of the rest of the world does not recognize Hamas's government either. Hamas had a coup in 2007, took over the Gaza Strip. Most of the world recognizes the Palestinian Authority, which is located in the West Bank, as the official recognized Palestinian government. So Hamas-led government in the Gaza Strip is not seen as its own legitimate government either. So really what we end up having is a situation where neither side is willing to recognize the fact, which was that Hamas has governed the territory from 2007 until 2023. That was a fact, but neither side was willing to say, yes, we recognize that as its own entity. Most Israelis have argued that that's not a part of Israel, but have equally argued, but they're not willing to hand it over to a Palestinian entity, keeping it in a state of limbo.
If you don't own it, you know, how are you proposing, you know, giving it away or not giving it away?
Well, again,
You look
one of the things that make me a country, but some of the main aspects, the entrance of goods over controlling who leaves, who doesn't leave.
you know, you were saying, and the reason I'm bringing it up, it relates to what we're speaking about here. It's in the Likud Charter as well, isn't it? Is it from the river to the sea? There'll
Only be Israeli sovereignty. I apologize
Is
for
it
the
what?
internet
Israeli,
connection,
the
man.
Likud Charter, right?
Oh,
Only be Israeli sovereignty.
it's not in the charter, but it is
It's-
in what the Likud members have publicly stated.
It is in something. It's not in the charter. It's in something, and I think it's been in this for a while.
And said over and over. I guess it depends when we're looking at it, because in the original party in the Zionist movement that became
So like something like 1980 or something. I'm personally unfamiliar with what he has said about them negatively. I think some media misconstrued things. Maybe I don't know these things. Yeah, Biden has said some. Oh, sorry, Biden has said some other things. So, yeah, the media is obviously. Well, I'll say obviously, but the media seem to be really gunning for him. I don't doubt that, but the guy says some mad things. You know, about Mexicans. Okay, like we're on the Palestine-Israel topic. I mean, Trump mocked Biden before Biden dropped out, and said, you know, oh, he's becoming. He says, paraphrasing something like, oh, he's becoming soft like the Palestinians. The guy's a racist, man. It doesn't matter. There's no getting out of that. There's no getting out of that. But you know, I'm sure. It seems, I think, Vlad, what you're saying is the ends justify the means. You know, he's not perfect, but he's the best option, and he'll get the US. Project them into a better position than they are now. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that. I'm not. I mean, I will probably. I don't know. They're all wankers, isn't it? I don't know what to say. I'm not informed on all of that, but I'm learning. Thanks to committed viewers like you, Vlad.
Likud was part of the charter. But like, the Likud has run lots of different political platforms. But it's certainly what has been said. Netanyahu has said that he's head of the Likud, has said that, publicly as part of the war aims, that there will only be one political entity from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean.
Right.
Which is the river to the sea.
Right. So with that being said, off the back of that, you can't really argue that they broke into Israel.
Again, the
main government.
they're speaking by 9 other people. The other side, in discussing with the other, it can't be that you recognize that Hamas is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the next
Put it all
question.
links in, of course. How are you finding the question so far? By the way,
Was that your question? This is a simple answer. If anyone, to that extent,
continue to repeat for some reason. You spoke about Hamas earlier and the fact that basically, I don't know if they have a bin min service, but they might be paid by Hamas associates
okay.
and so on. And these are classified generally.
Here, they did a shit job.
What we hear as sort of Hamas associates, fair game, right? Is that
Um,
generally what we hear? Associated to Hamas. And
a Hamas member. I always ask again, I teach course on terrorism. I ask, what does it mean to become a member? Can I become a member?
I heard Hamas civilians once.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Hamas civilians.
True
What does it mean?
story.
So
Piers
exactly, so it's
Morgan.
very
It
hard
was
to
on
know.
Piers Morgan, I think.
Again, international law has a different definition for what it means to be combatant. But that's what I say. When people say destroy Hamas, I'm like, so do you mean every single bureaucrat? Because technically they're all part of the Hamas government.
Yeah.
But sorry, go on.
What I'm often hearing is Hamas affiliated, Hamas associate, Hamas this,
Mhm.
Hamas police, Hamas this, and as you say, the government. So from the Israeli governmental, the military, the IDF, and so on, am I right in saying they classify these as legitimate targets?
So
Hamas associates?
technically, broadly, I would say yes. Technically, the IDF, at least according to statements, and this often has not been the case on the ground in the Gaza Strip, but in terms of classification, the IDF looks at militants in the Gaza Strip theoretically, regardless of their political affiliation. Right? There's also Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
Yeah, it's interesting, Vlad, what you're saying. It's a bit of a paradox, man. I feel like being a sort of Trump supporter and a don't know if you consider yourself pro-Palestinian. Quite interesting. America is a beast with two heads. I know both heads support Israel, man. So and what they're doing. So yeah.
There's also the Popular Front of the Liberation of Palestine. There's also the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. All of these all operate within the Gaza Strip as well. So technically, as far as the fighting on the ground goes, the justifies.
So basically, here, I poorly articulate the fact that Analon loosely agrees that there's a question of what exactly is a Hamas associate and how far can being an associate with a camera stretch, family member, political member, the bin man, Hamas bin man, you know what I mean? Like, how far can you stretch Hamas associate, and to what extent are such individuals fair, quote unquote, fair game, in accordance with the IDF? But I didn't come at this from, well, there's a few different things. One, I didn't mention, okay, Alon explains the IDF's verbal sort of position on this. Let's start with that.
And again, so that's not technically who the IDF is, hunting in the Gaza Strip, but
They
could
have no
they,
issue killing them.
could they also be considered a legitimate target? That is somewhat more contextual. Police officers, part of the Hamas police force, absolutely. The IDF has targeted them repeatedly, specifically in Rafah, but also in the areas of Deir al-Balah going on just now in Gaza City. The Hamas police force.
So, Vlad, what exactly are you saying here then? The heads aren't correspondent with the major parties, but they're on the same. They are on the same head. Okay, as in the two parties on the same head. Civilians, the other head. So armed and angry. Now you're getting me concerned, Vlad. So, but that doesn't explain. So if Trump and Harris are on the same head, unless you're differentiating Trump and the party, his party, because obviously you're voting MAGA, aren't you? You're voting for one of them. So, but I get you. People are pissed off, and I would be too.
Are seen by the IDF as legitimate targets through and through. Now, in addition to that, other bureaucrats that work with Hamas, I have thus far not seen
like
a lot
Tom
of
the
targeting
Don.
of lower level bureaucrats, i.e., again, the postman or the bank official. However, the IDF has targeted and launched targeted assassinations against the political wing of Hamas. So, in other words, politicians that are part of Hamas.
Tom, you need to join in. Our friend here, Vlad, correct me if I'm wrong, he's like pro-Palestinian and he's a MAGA supporter. And I'm just trying to learn a bit from him here, because I don't know a lot about definitely not as much as he does about the sort of US political landscape. America is headed for a civil war, and it will mean yep. Okay, yeah, so he's pro-Palestinian and a MAGA supporter. Headed for that reminds me of the Hodge twins, because I think they're similar. Civil war will make a mark on the world stage for us. Okay, yeah, interesting one. Yeah. Vlad's accepting that Trump doesn't care about the Palestinians. We spoke about how he used them or Palestinian as a pejorative term. Is that the right word? Is that the right term? To mock Biden and so on. So Vlad agrees with that. You don't disagree. But I think Vlad's position is the means justify the ends. Voting MAGA long term is for the benefit, despite uh, you know real issues with Trump. I think Vlad sort of agrees as well. Some of that. Yeah, they have massive influence, don't they, man? Unfortunately, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're best buddies, man. I don't know if they're best buddies because weren't they a bit pissed off with each other because, I mean, sorry, wasn't Trump a bit pissed off that Netanyahu acknowledged Biden winning? I wanted to voice my position as a reminder that there's a great diversity of thought. That what the media makes out. And yes, many MAGA people are also in the dark on these issues. Most mean well. Yeah, you know what, Vlad? Not to be arrogant or whatever, though it is probably a bit of a lofty statement, but I do. If I can credit myself with one thing, I do really just try and listen before assuming. So will you say you're MAGA and so on, and unless you say to me, yeah, like kill all these lot or those lot or whatever, if you said something like that, then I do have a position on that. You know what I mean? I'm not just some fence sitter. If you say things like if there's racism or so on, but if you support MAGA and what you're telling me is as you have done, people are just joining, they can go and have a listen or read or whatever. Whatever, man. It's I'm babbling on, but I'm with you. I get what you're saying. It's kind of it's a shit situation, which where you go for, man. I don't know what to say, man. Am I just tired as well right now? I don't know. He'll give carte blanche. Yeah, true, man. True, bro. July, yeah. But what year? Because I think I don't know. These guys chat shit, don't they? Enjoy Project 2025. Vlad, we need to get you on Tom One together. Isn't this Project 2025? I have heard very little about it. As enough. Is it a conspiracy? I don't know. Yeah, I could tell you a quick. I think loaded about 50 minutes ago and I've been invested in the chat instead. Loaded a bowl of what, Vlad? That's the question. Yeah, this year, Tom. Yeah, I'm with you. But I think there was some, previously. Anyway, fuck them all, that's what I say. I might be MC Sox's biggest American fan, low-key, and ever since that interview I've been scrolling. Oh shit, Vlad, yeah. Vlad, you're the guy, man. Yo, you're the guy. Oh shit. So, the only other guy in the chat right now, Tom the Don 51, right? Vlad, Tom the Don was with me at Sox's house as well. Or Sox's mom's yard, as he put it, when we did that interview. And, yeah. There's some backstory there, but we can't share too much online. Watch Lord of the Mics. Oh shit, we're promoting socks now. That's what this video is turned into. You know what? I don't really know what Planet 25 is. I'm more acquainted. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I don't know, is it a conspiracy theory or what? Smoke the bowl. You lot chatting away, man. Okay, yeah. About to smoke. Okay, you know what? I don't even know. Is that American? Is this American slang or what? I don't even know. Vlad, how old are you, by the way? I'm just curious.
Absolutely. And I'll just say
And also, what state do you live in? Come on, man, Vlad. Vlad, I have much respect for you now, and I'll recognize you. And I will, believe it or not, I will actually be going live much more frequently now. I've just been sorting a few things out, and I will be doing so. No, don't worry about it, Tom. But Vlad, I want to know what state you're from. Just give us a bit of background. Like, you've been subscribed for so long. Come on, bro.
the caveat, when I say targeted assassinations, that's just the word that's used by the IDF, so I use that. I've always found that term, quite a little stand behind. I think every assassination is targeted, and I don't see them target bureaucrats as much, except for the police force. The police force by the IDF.
Presumably they're unarmed.
Presumably, yes. I mean, as far as I know, yes.
Yeah.
They're just as part of the Hamas-led government.
Right. So, okay, trying to understand that bit. Any one part of the government then structure?
In a leadership role. So mayors, I've seen them target Hamas ministers, minister of communication, different ministers, people in the top-ranking sort of public figure role. I've seen them targeted, even though they're more on the political side rather than the militant side. I've not seen a lot of targeting of, bank managers or things like that. People who are still technically part of the Hamas government, because if you're a bank manager, especially in a concentrated economy like it was in the Gaza Strip, you're technically employed by the government. But in practice, obviously, you're just a bank manager. I haven't seen many of them targeted. For that reason, obviously, a lot of them killed in the war. But I haven't seen
Okay, Indiana. Bro, the US is so big, like, I have to Google where that is, bro.
many of them targeted for that reason. I have seen the IDF saying that it is targeting mayors, police officers, chiefs of police, ministers within the Hamas government. Yes, those seemingly the IDF has labeled as part of the Hamas governing body that are part of who the IDF is trying to strike.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So they're striking political associates, yeah?
My impression, shall we say, and that's why I wanted to ask you, is slightly further. Just that what I often hear repeated is associate, and that kind of thing. And but if we stay in the mutual ground where we sort of agree, my question was really, it's a problematic one, and I don't necessarily.
And I did a shit job here, and I'm about to tell you why. Because this one I have cried myself to sleep about a few times.
Though perhaps I just don't understand it. The amount of people that were killed on October 7th, I've got it written down actually. It varies slightly, but we're talking around just under 800 civilians, right? That's right.
I think slightly more. I think 850. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay,
I think
similar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my point is, from the Hamas side, or
How old are you,
can then
Vlad?
quite
Just
easily argue
out of curiosity.
the former history, what we were speaking about earlier.
Or
The reservists are
roughly,
basically
if you don't know.
IDF associates.
I mean, yes, that argument.
From the Hamas side or Hezbollah side, you could then quite easily argue, if the former history, what we were speaking about earlier, that reservists are basically IDF associates.
I mean, yes, that argument is made by Hamas often. That one of the reasons, for example, that the hostage exchange that occurred in November was limited to women and children who were kidnapped by Hamas was that Hamas said that they are not releasing any of the men that are between the ages of 19 and I think they said 55 because they technically could be part of the reservist army. So yes, that argument is made.
But in terms of killings, I'm talking specifically the killings as well.
Vlad, I thought that said Hooters then. I don't know why. Almost 28, so you're 27, yeah. So you're similar age to me and Tom. We're like around 25. Well, I'm 26. I don't know if Tom wants to give his age, similar age.
So because what I hear from the Israeli side is, look, they're a terrorist group. I hear this all the time, like, in British media as well, in American. They're a terrorist group. These people are associated. Aren't they, fair and whatnot? And the question I'm just kind of asking back is, again, not that I necessarily agree with this, but in principle, as you say, anyone who served, who could be called up for service, is an IDF associate. And I don't think Hamas are going to be considering the IDF anything less than terrorists, right? Am I right or wrong? Am I missing anything there?
So I'll say a couple of things. First of all,
Sure, yeah.
Hamas is classified as a terror group by the United Nations, United States, Israel, the EU, etc. So not that I think that most people who tell you look at terrorists, A, B, and C have actually looked at that. But when I say attack terrorism, I will look at the actions and at the official classifications. At the same time, the killings that occurred on October 7th did not target reservists. They were targeting anyone who was in the vicinity. It involved scores of teenagers. It involved babies who were.
The majority of the world, I think Alon says, doesn't recognize Hamas's legitimate governance, and they consider Hamas an again, I just want to emphasize, I'm not arguing against Alon. These are just responses that I should have given at the time, and Alon would have given a fair response. Perhaps you can talk about. Nah, bro, Tom, don't say that. I think he's actually I think he's a good guy, man. Like, he's not talking bollocks. I think I didn't I think I was very good, man. Nah, bro. Listen, I wouldn't chat to someone who I thought was just an arrogant such and such. You know. Yeah, I think he's an honest broker. Put it that way. That's why I was interested in the discussion with him. But basically, yeah. I mean, majority of the world. I believe what was stated is the majority of the world considers Hamas a terrorist organization. Majority of the world doesn't recognize their governance. You know, majority of the world does recognize a Palestinian state, but there isn't one. So, like, you know, if we're talking majorities, do you know what I mean? If majority is right, majority doesn't recognize Hamas and so on, and deems them a terrorist organization. As a just to maybe re-emphasize what I'm trying to say here, majority does recognize the Palestinian state. Like I think like 85% of countries voted for it, so something like that. Anyway, man, you can have a look. I don't think anyone's going to dispute it. So what's going on? And I would guess, not to put words into Alan's mouth, but he'd probably agree that that's kind of a bit of a problem, innit? Bro, because I failed, innit? Like, even the arguments that I had, whether I align myself with them or not is a different conversation, but I didn't give justice to the arguments that I had. And Alan gave good responses. And I wasn't sharp enough in picking up the responses. Again, it's not that it's a debate, but just not to miss anything. No, we might disagree, agree, whatever. But I just did a bad job. Basically. That's what I called it. I failed, innit, basically, bro.
Were killed. Involved. There was no distinction that was made in
I failed myself. That's what's key here. But anyway, we learn, innit?
there was no attempt to make any distinction
We move, as you say, Tom the Don.
between reservists, non-reservists. Hezbollah fired rockets, one of their missiles, on at the end of July, killed 12 kids in Mount Shams who are not even Israeli citizens. So it's hard to make an argument that the October 7th attacks or the rockets and missiles that are fired by Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, are trying to target at the end of July, kill tension between babies who were killed. Involved. There was no the killings that occurred on October 7th did not target reservists. They were targeting anyone who was in the vicinity. Involved scores of teenagers. Involved babies who were killed. Involved. There was no distinction.
Yeah, I see here. I think there's a bit of a time limit to it as well, and I ran over massively. I think when we cut off, Alon seemed to like jump and run in it. Like, I definitely ran him over time. He gave me way more time than he had, so we had agreed. So, but this is something which I would have liked to discuss, like kill babies, the target.
That was made in there was no attempt to make any distinction between reservists, non-reservists. Hezbollah fired rockets, one of their missiles, on at the end of July, killed 12 kids in Mount Shams.
Yeah, so if we take that point there, Hezbollah fired a rocket, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, they have fired thousands of rockets, and the one time, well, not one time, but one of the few times where people have died, they've said it's not them. Maybe it was accidental or something. I doubt it was intentional for certain. Just not because excuse me, yeah, I'm choking up. Joking. Not because I support them or really have any sort of vested interest. It's just because it doesn't connect with, like, they fired 5,000 odd or whatever, at the time, 5,000 odd rockets. If they're trying to kill civilians, how have they only managed to kill like 12 in it? And they're not even claiming it. They're denying it. If it was them, do you know what I mean? So these are responses I should have given, and then hear what Alan's got to say. Shout out, man, like Vlad. Why should the life of one group of people come? Yeah, bro, I agree with you, man. I agree with you, but it's a very general statement, Tom, as always. Can't get past the Iron Dome. Bro, are you locked in or what? How many times have they got past the Iron Dome in the last year, bro? Many bloody times.
We're not even Israeli citizens. So, it's hard to make an argument that the October 7th attacks or the rockets and missiles that are fired by Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, are trying to target, reservists, and therefore are they not associated or not associated. Hamas has made the argument that, if possible, they would have rather only killed reservists and soldiers. People can believe that or not. I've been studying Hamas now for 15 years.
See, Alon's said that there, and most people wouldn't give that quote. And this is a statement. Well, recently I heard an old video, Sinwar saying, if we had the ability to target just military sort of military whatever, we would. Obviously Alon's questioning, is that likely true or not? Don't know, that's his personal opinion, whatnot. But he presents the fact that they do say this, but you won't hear that. You won't even hear anyone say, oh, by the way, they do say this. Like, they just present it as Nazis everywhere else, man.
Are trying to target, reservists, and therefore are they not associated or not associated. Hamas has made the argument that, if possible, they would have rather only killed reservists.
Yeah, when you're talking about thousands of rockets fired, vast majority intercepted and missed target. I don't know, bro. I don't know about that. Okay, are you talking about Hezbollah? Or are you talking about Hamas? On October 7th, Hamas claimed to have fired 5,000, and since then, it's probably in the hundreds overall. I would guess. Hezbollah is in the thousands. But again, I'll love to talk to anyone about the following. I don't think Hezbollah is trying to kill as many civilians as they can with the rockets they're firing. They've been just continuously hitting, just saturating the airspace, and the continued firing of rockets in the north has meant that 60,000+ Israelis can't return home, and that puts pressure on the government, basically. So yeah, they did fire a drone, bro, Tom. Depends who you believe and whatever, but at least pretty bloody close to Netanyahu's house, if not his house, they claim. But they got it down near his house, at least, is admitted by the Israelis. So they fired a ballistic missile at Tel Aviv as well, didn't they? So and now that the ground invasion started, they are killing, taking out 8. So maybe I'm just kind of guessing from what I'm hearing, something like 8 IDF members per day. So hi, yeah, I'm friends. Yeah, hi to you too.
Reservists and soldiers. People can believe that or not. I've been studying Hamas now for 15 years. That is not proven to be the case. Nonetheless, when people say, look, he's a Hamas associate, therefore, theoretically speaking...
Oh, can you guys
that
click
is
the like button, by the
of
way, if you don't
intelligence that
mind?
actually tries to do that distinction, as opposed to what was on October 7th. Now, is that intelligence, what is the level to which that...
Tom, you did chill out with this line, bro. You did chill out with this line. I think it's problematic.
Intelligence is accurate? I think it can be very, very called into question. We have seen lots of situations where people have been killed in the Gaza Strip. Let's even talk about the non-disputed cases.
Thank you.
The case where the IDF, fired and killed 3 people waving a white flag, and they turned out to be hostages who had escaped. The case of the World Central Kitchen, where IDF drones targeted cars, and when the IDF researched that, they found that whatever computer intelligence was identifying had seen what was perceived to be a militant on the cars an hour before. He wasn't there anymore. So if it had not been a convoy of the World Central Kitchen, chances are this would have been written off as there were Hamas affiliates there. So one can call into question.
See, Alon's an honest broker.
These are all Hamas affiliates. However, I would say that if we're talking in theory, when someone says that's a Hamas affiliate, it is based on the idea that there's an attempt to distinguish between Hamas affiliates and not Hamas affiliates in the Gaza Strip. And I would argue that there was no attempt to distinguish between IDF affiliates and not affiliates on October 7th. That is the only distinction I would make.
Sped up, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I don't want to run into that too much further, just because a lot of it's sort of disputed and whatnot, right? There were loads of civilians who were killed.
I failed.
That's for sure. They did appear to, from what I've heard and seen.
Are we talking on a macro level or on a micro level?
Initially target military bases and take over a few military checkpoints and so on.
Well, they did, but that's the military checkpoints that stop them from entering further. Once those were overrun, there are other bases along the way in getting civilian towns. They were not targeted. The civilian towns were targeted.
Slightly different question is a bit more further along, I guess. I'm often hearing, Blinken and so on talking about Israel wants a ceasefire, Israel wants a ceasefire, Israel wants a ceasefire.
See, if we had enough time, as I was saying earlier, man, I can't really ask Alon for a follow up because the last video's got on like 20 views, and also I've not really shared it or nothing. So I've been in the process of moving house and had some exams and stuff a while ago and shit, and I've been on a holiday like twice in the last month. So that's my excuse, man. But I'm gonna try and get on this YouTube thing properly because I enjoy it. But long story short, I feel bad asking him for his time again until I get my shit together. You know what I mean? But I would have liked to talk about the waves of people that broke out of Gaza. So because where Alan's talking about, he said he would argue that Hamas didn't differentiate between civilians and combatants or reservists and so on. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not sure whether I agree or disagree. It's very easy to say, "Oh, he's wrong," blah blah, blah military. But the fact, and Hannibal directive and that. But I don't like doing that kind of thing, and I think it's an interesting question. Currently, for the four of you watching, I would say my thought is, I don't know if Hamas were comfortable killing civilians or not. As in adults, I don't think anyone tried to kill children or babies. I don't think so. Whether Hamas were okay and did target adult male and females, I don't know. But the question I have is quite widely accepted. Again, I would ask whoever I'm speaking to pull me up on this, that there were waves of Gazans that came out, that broke out. The first wave being Hamas. You then had Islamic Palestinian Jihad, I believe, come out as well. Other fractions basically join in. These are not all necessarily Islamists, fundamentalists, whatever you want to flipping call it, jihadists, whatever you want to call them, innit? And then you also had common folk coming out, criminals potentially. I don't know. So who's to say they weren't the ones who did these things? I don't know, basically, man. And I would love to explore said question with more depth, but we were limited on time and it wasn't really the topic. Anyway, I'm not trying to miss your questions, the great viewers here. Either macro, I think I'm aware of. A micro. Yeah, you should. Thank you. Yeah. Well, micro, I don't think, unfortunately, much has changed. There's some talk of a Hezbollah, Lebanese-Israeli ceasefire, but I think it's bullshit. Yeah, but bro, Tom, I don't have to slap you through the screen, but obviously we're specifically discussing. It's not one day. It's not about the 7th. Bro, you've not watched the video, you waste, man. You're not one of the 25 viewers. It's he's answering the questions that I asked, bro. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course, bro. Come on. All innocent life. I went to a debate yesterday, by the way. I just went to listen to it. Okay. 2 minutes late. Coolio. Yeah, indiscriminate killing specifically. Tom, you're not my fan, you're my boy, yeah. I'm not into this fan business anyway, man. We're just talking, really, aren't we?
Good few weeks back now, months even, we had the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell would you
notice the pronunciation? Ismail Haniyeh. Yeah. What am I trying to conform or what?
Weeks back now, months even,
Am I trying
we
to
had the
impress
assassination
something?
of Ismail Haniyeh.
Mm-hmm.
why the hell would you, wanting a ceasefire, why are you killing the chief negotiator? I know they'll say, oh, it doesn't affect anything. If so, why kill him? And why are you killing him in the capital city of your biggest...
Gentai, I'm not sure if I've pronounced your name correctly, but just so you're aware, I'm actually just critiquing where I did bad in this chat. Really, yeah.
enemy if you don't want to escalate things. I'm like mind blown by that. That's where I feel BS. But
Yeah,
tell me
get a
otherwise,
grip,
please.
Tom.
Both
Tom,
Hamas and
Tom's my personal friend, so like in real life, so don't worry, Tom's alright.
Israel have said that they would love to have a ceasefire. They would just love to
Got
have a
you.
ceasefire as long as all their terms are met. Israel said we can have a ceasefire at any point. Certainly, Hamas has to release all hostages unconditionally and lay down arms, and then we can have a ceasefire. If not, then these are the conditions that we're willing to go on. Hamas has said we can have a ceasefire at any point. The IDF has to evacuate from the Gaza Strip, remove the siege, release the Palestinian prisoners
Yeah,
that we demand.
Alon's
Otherwise,
voice kept bubbling, man. He's got this old school, setup going, man. This like, what is it called, man? Call center setup.
these are the terms, and then both sides have set these different terms, which is one.
So there's a little, a sly little cut there. Do you see it?
The Gaza Strip, remove the siege, release the Palestinian prisoners that we demand. Otherwise, these are the terms. And then both sides have set these different terms, which is why Lincoln is constantly saying, look, there's agreement on 85% of the different things. There's only 15% they don't agree on. And I'm like, yeah, but the same 15% that they haven't agreed on from the beginning. So both sides have publicly said they want a ceasefire. Neither side is willing to actually make the compromises that would have to be made in order to get to a ceasefire. Now, leading to the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, specifically, in that sense, that was much more connected, I would argue, to the regional story. That was, after the attack in Madinah al-Shams, northern Israel, that killed, 12 kids aged 10 to 20. The IDF and Israel said that they are going to carry out retaliations regionally. They assassinated Fuad Shukr of Hezbollah and carried the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh. More, I would argue, to send a message to Iran that look, our operatives
Usually
can
just
strike in
YouTube.
the heart of your capital,
YouTube, to be
rather
honest.
than actually as part of the ongoing war. I mean, I'll even throw you another one that's more towards your question. In the debate within Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh was the one who wanted the ceasefire. Yahya Sinwar in the Gaza Strip is the one
Yeah, you'll have to put the notifications
who
on.
did not. And both were
I'm gonna try and do it
assassinating
weekly,
Ismail Haniyeh
for sure.
Certainly only moved a ceasefire further away. So does Israel want, does not want? Both sides have said we're happy to have a ceasefire. Both sides though have also been very adamant, but we're not willing to make compromises. Does either side really want a ceasefire? Yes. Is either side actually willing to compromise on the one?
Yeah, come on, man.
I think both
let's
sides have shown that.
let's get-
The Majid Shams, if that's how you pronounce it. This is the Syrian occupied Golan Heights, right?
Yeah, it's
One
in the
of
Golan
those.
Heights.
Yeah. That was sort of taken over in '67.
That was taken over to 67. Yes.
Israel says it's theirs and so on. And the people who
But
live
in
there.
regards to what you were saying about Israel's
Sorry.
borders, I'll sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, of course, please. Yeah.
Regarding what you're saying about Israel's borders, as far as Israel's concerned, the Golan Heights
Top
and
man, Vlad,
that's
top
different.
man.
Israel officially, as far as it's concerned,
OG,
expanded its borders.
Vlad's an
to the
OG.
Golan Heights. That's not recognized internationally. That doesn't mean that it's theirs. But
Long time
technically, it's
sub.
different. You asked me before from Israel's eyes. Technically, that's different than the West Bank or the Gaza Strip.
Yeah. The children that were killed, God rest their souls, they weren't Israeli citizens
No.
either, right? Yeah.
No, they're part of like the Jewish population in the Golan Heights. Some of them have accepted Israeli citizenship. Some of them have not.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I just it's an
Was
interesting
there
answer.
was that the
But
Tommy Robinson?
It's such a step up
protest?
to take out, the lead negotiator, who, as is seen as a sort of softer side to this group. Again, well, it's not an associate. He's the head, but this is not an armed guy. He's not a physical threat, and you've taken him out in the. If that's not like an escalation, saying we're forget talking, we're sort of up for it. I can't.
Yes,
imagine,
but
like,
I don't know that you would you say the same thing for the fact that Hamas executed 6 hostages while saying they want a ceasefire?
Got you,
Is that
yeah,
an escalation?
yeah.
The war is going on. The war is going on. And
But
until
you're
it's
doing
ceasefire-
it.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was
sorry,
yeah, that was like
the difference is you've done
Tommy
it in Iran,
Robinson type
in the
one.
capital as well.
Yes,
You've not
I
carried
would-
this out within because you're now directly involving a major.
I don't know, man. I feel like with this specific question here. So I feel like either again I didn't articulate it well enough, or Alon just missed what I was saying. Because you have supporters of Hamas, and then you have supporters of Israel, right? And for the most part, supporters on both sides aren't hand to hand kind of involved. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, what I'm saying, it's back, it's through the back, yeah, supply lines and that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And what I'm saying is, you as the main, as the direct. I'm getting distracted by the good comments. Southport, yeah, Tommy. Basically, it's like. It's like the US directly striking Russia. Basically, like that is an escalation. That's a serious escalation. Like you can't say that's not taking this up a serious notch. And what I'm saying is, okay, yeah, Iran's supporting Hamas and Hezbollah and so on, and the US and UK, Australia, Germany, whatever, are supporting Israel and whatnot, but the direct firing is between Israel and Hamas and Israel and Hezbollah. When you, as Israel, go and carry out an attack in Iran, you know, it's like the US supporting Ukraine, but then if the US does a direct attack in Russia, you know, that is a serious escalation. Like, and then further to that, it was quite a pointless one, because not to obviously, I'm not trying to dehumanize the situation, but if strictly strategically you took out the quote unquote moderate negotiator of all the people you could have taken out, you know. So do you want to ceasefire? I don't think so, bro. Yeah, it was hijacked. Oh, he hijacked it. Sorry, while in Spain. You can make an analogy of the U.S. attacking Mexico. Well, I'm not sure I follow that, but I might just be tired. Yeah, okay, I think I'm with you now. So preempting, you know, like the best defense is an offense. But we're talking within the framework of the Palestine-Israel war, you know. I'm with you. I think I'm with you. As in, I think I understand. What do you mean by that? Sorry. Studied in places. It's a political argument. Oh, what do you mean? Okay, got you. Yeah, no worries.
Major player. It's like
No,
if
it's
Hamas was to
Iran
kill someone in
Iran launched over 300,000 projectiles at Israel in April in response to Israel attacking the consulate in Syria. I mean, Iran's involved.
which is all escalation, isn't it? For example, if Hamas had the ability to kill someone in the US, you know, that would.
Yeah, actually, did he make a? He might have.
Over 300,000 projectiles at Israel in April in response to Israel attacking the consulate in Syria. I mean, Iran's involved.
Which is all escalation, isn't it? For example, if Hamas had the ability to kill someone in the US, you know, that would ramp things up big time, would it not? You know, you're now, or if they were attacking the US in some way, you know, they've infiltrated US security and so on. Do you know what I mean? It brings that player in on a whole different level.
But it is different if the United States and Hamas were already, you know, in active war and combat. I'm not arguing that
they are indirectly.
No, directly, not indirectly.
No, I'm saying they are indirectly, and Iran was indirectly. But the minute you assassinate someone,
Iran and Israel, for the first time in history, already like fired at each other directly back in April. I'm not
this is just building on that. Is what
I'm not
I'm
arguing
saying.
the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh is right or wrong. I am saying in response to your question of does this not say that does not blast a hole in the narrative that Israel
In
wants
calming
to
things
ceasefire.
down, you know, yeah.
No, I don't think that blasts a hole in it. I think that both sides have done and are constantly doing, up to and including today, are constantly doing things that are showing that they say they want a ceasefire but are not willing to do what it takes. And do I think that drove us further away from a ceasefire? Yes, I do. I think that Ismail Haniyeh was the one who was championing more of a ceasefire. Do I think that because of that there is no ceasefire? No, I think that, you know, a ceasefire, the ideas of the ceasefire, the basic platform of it was as it existed since May. It could have been signed then and saved God knows how many, you know, thousands of Palestinian lives. Hamas is not willing to do what it takes. Israel is not willing to do what it takes. So again, I'm not arguing that it was smart or not smart, but I also think that there's so much evidence and proof that both sides are constantly hampering the getting a ceasefire and are constantly doing things that are just inflammatory and just escalatory. This to me is just another one of those. I don't see it as the escalatory move that brought Iran in or that drove us away. So in that sense, I'm not sure that I would analyze it as much. It's just another one. They're doing things constantly, both sides constantly.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree then, and I'm aware, you know, you're much more sort of learned in this than me. Just the sort of last few things then.
Okay.
I heard you mention.
Thank you. I got
basically
you.
No one else.
Got you.
And can you sort of enlighten us? Yeah, I guess. Is it correct that Hamas released 4 elderly civilians early on?
See, this is something that's not really
Hamas
reported
released 2
on.
and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad released 2. But 4 of the elderly women who were kidnapped on October 7th were released.
So also, yeah, so Palestinian Islamic Jihad released 2 of them. So, you know, much of the discussion is framed around Hamas. Now, Hamas early on said basically, we can't locate all of the hostages. Like, we don't know where they all are. We need to check. Essentially, as far as I'm aware, I don't believe Hamas took all the hostages that were taken. So when people say, oh, Hamas took babies and children and women and, you know, this and that, who exactly did they take? I posit the question, is it potentially the case that Hamas had their plan and then they basically left loose ends, is what I think, and others had created, you know, opportunists kind of took opportunities, is what I think. Did Hamas take. Did Hamas fighters go out there and take elderly people? I don't know.
Throughout October.
Or did criminals take them, or other fractions with a different ideology and opinion and stance take them?
As humanitarian gestures by Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
And is it right that Israel wouldn't
Yeah,
accept them
just
directly, and so
to-
they were taken through Egypt?
No, Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad were not willing to release them directly
Okay.
to Israel, and that's why they were taken through Egypt.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So the 100 or so hostages that were exchanged, was that through Egypt, or was it mixed? Right.
It was a mix.
Like the Red Cross was involved.
The Red Cross was involved in each one. They were released essentially into the care of the Red Cross in the Gaza Strip. Those who were held in Rafah, seemingly,
Also,
and
all
Khan
those
Yunis were
pictures
brought
of
through the Rafah
waving and
crossing
stuff that
and
we
then to
saw.
Egypt. Those who were held in the northern parts of the Gaza Strip were handed over to the Red Cross, usually in Gaza City, and then driven to the border with Israel. So that's and yeah, it was 80 civil Israeli citizens and another 24 non-citizens.
Sorry, man, my internet's just been shit today. I think I'll wrap it up soon though. I mean, this video is not far gone before it's gone. You know what?
So those 4 that they handed over, why did they hand?
Yeah, right. So I mean, well, there's not much.
What's the general understanding of why they handed? Because Hamas are, as we know,
Bro, what is going on? We're gonna have to go where no man's gone. 144 or something like that. P. Yeah. So stalling. There's so much more to discuss. Basically,
I don't say the words, but doing all.
there is just so much more to discuss. No way.
these things to people
2000s, yeah.
is non-stop what I hear. Why on earth has said group given?
Yeah, can we hear more about that? From Bristol, yeah? What part of Palestine? What? Where exactly and who to? Like, who to? I just find that interesting. That so you guys sent computers, or you bought them, or did you send money?
Over for elderly civilians. Obviously, the argument back
For
is
them
why
to
they
buy
take whatever,
computers
and then
over
I
there.
would, or they might question, should I say, who exactly took them? We didn't necessarily know who was where and whatnot. But just in the interest of time, why would said evil group hand over for elderly people? And did they have an incentive or?
From what I can see, and from what I saw them stating at the time, there were 2 reasons for that. One,
Got you. Okay, interesting.
they were receiving monumental bad press. The October 7th attack, and like you said, I can argue, so why did you carry it out, or how was it carried out? The October 7th attack in the month of October, what was leading the international press was not Israel's bombing of Gaza. It was decapitated babies, which there were. It was mass rapes, which there were. And Hamas wanted to
Oh, decapitated baby. So I couldn't talk about this, man.
change the narrative. Which
Just because we said 1 hour and we were basically in. But also, I'm not trying to say anything negative about Alon. I'm sure he has. I find him to be a genuine guy. So in the future, I'd like to learn a bit more. Hear where he's coming from on these things.
did largely. Like, all of a sudden, the news report came to be, let's talk about the 4 hostages that were released, and everyone's interviewing them. And what did you go through? How was it? The narrative changed. It changed to some extent, and Hamas was successful in doing that. So that's one of the impetus to carry out that release. A second one is, I would say,
Okay, all right. So someone took the money and handed it out. Oh yeah, okay. Well, if it's possible to see those videos, that'd be cool. But if not, no problem. I get it as well. What part of Palestine? I'm just curious. This is obviously, I'm presuming not Gaza. Okay, 1K. So wait, hold on. So you actually bought the pieces here and took them over? Wow.
seemingly, but I've seen enough proof about this that I argue is accurate, Hamas kidnapped more people than it intended to. The operation was much more successful than Hamas thought it would be, and they actually needed to deplete some of their.
Guys, and I missed such a stupid question here. And maybe there's a real easy answer to it, but it's coming.
Deplete some of their holding areas, and
Because bear in mind, I've listened to this quite a few times over when editing it. So
then it was unclear, right? The war was going to last this long. It could have been there would have been another hostage exchange. It would have been in January or February. They didn't want hostages dying. The elderly women who were released were sick. They didn't want, first of all, it's bad press, but also dead hostages, if we're going to be callous, are not worth as much as live hostages.
The point about it's bad press, bro. Sorry, if they're killing civilians, targeting and killing civilians and decapitating babies, I don't think they give a shit about bad press. If that's if that is their position. I'll have to speak to Alon again, and what I might do is listen to this video again and just write down these few things, and I might actually get Alon on just to do justice and ask him, Alon, if just to further these points, his talk, just understand it a bit further. Sorry, we're in about 100 computers. Wow, okay. So I don't think I'm being stupid in saying I don't think laptops were as common back then. So that might be a lot easier now. In terms of refreshing the computers, putting new BIOS in. Oh, Ramallah, okay. So I think so that's West Bank, isn't it? And I do believe it's an expensive area to live in, maybe. I could be wrong. I think it might be one of the more expensive areas.
So,
but it's better than nothing. Again, if we're going to be callous.
Yeah, but again, I think that and
you're getting bad press anyway. Like you're Nazi, this and that. All these things. This is the majority of what you hear.
Shall I put the quality up? Because this is atrocious on my end. Is it for you lot? I'm gonna stall for a second. Okay, yeah, you've never been. Yeah, no, I don't know if I've been to. I did go to Palestine once, but I don't think I visited Ramallah. But I've just heard it's very expensive.
The bad press is it depends what you listen to. I mean, there's a vast majority of certainly if you walk around campuses, the vast majority of the IDF are the neo-Nazis, and the IDF are the ones who are the new Nazis and the new Nazi regime. It very much depends on where you're going. But we have to remember that things have to be evaluated based on when they happened. Back in October, it was unclear that the war was going to happen this long, that this was going to be the situation, and then it was seen as a way to change the narrative, show that there is who to talk to, show that this group that is receiving a very bad image at that moment actually are a bit more humane, and that's why they did it.
Okay.
I would argue.
Okay, last question. Hopefully, very simple. Okay, I just think the following is really stupid, and if it offends anyone, honestly, I'm not that arsed. This.
Okay, you got shut down.
This line that I hear, and we all hear, that that Israel and the IDF are the most moral army in the world. Now, I'll get slated for saying it like this, but I will, just in the interest of honesty and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think you need to review this because it's supposed to be a critical thingy, and
those things are factual.
And I don't think I missed anything on this particular point.
It's how we define morality.
Right.
The IDF would
you're offending your own allies, is what I'm saying.
The IDF would argue that in the ratio, and it has made the argument, that in the ratio of combatants to civilians, this is one of the lowest and, in that sense, positive ratios in the world. The average in the world, when it comes to fighting terrorists, is 1 terrorist for 9 civilians, and in the Gaza Strip, according to the numbers published, by the Housing Health Ministry and then cross-checked with the IDF, is more 1 to 1.7.
So I didn't have time to discuss these stats further, Well, there are a number of points that could be made, but okay, I won't criticize myself. I won't hold myself in a negative way for that because, well, there literally wasn't the time to talk about it.
Fine. Now,
also check out Alon's channel. I think he's a decent guy.
Basically, the counter argument to that is yes. However, unlike other counterterrorism operations in the world, like we said before, the Gaza Strip is completely besieged. You control the line to use.
Yeah. Well, why do you think they use it? I would like to ask. Why are officials like these are supposed to be intelligent people? This Sippy Hotoveli, just because she comes to mind, right? There's loads of them that are saying it. Sorry,
is that true? Is that not true?
What's his position? Sorry, I don't know.
He's a minister in the Palestinian Authority.
Thank you.
Yasser Arafat in the year 2000 said the Palestinians are the only people in the world under occupation. That's not true. Why use these lines? Because politicians are politicians. Are geared towards their internal.
I don't think there were any more
Their voters.
questions.
To resolve this conflict. And pardon my laughing again, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's obviously a very sad thing. So yeah,
it's okay. I'm not going to give a sentence on where should things go because that's political statements and as academic.
I'm curious based on your level of knowledge of the subject. Though.
I don't
have.
have, as fought against Al Qaeda for 20 years. Al Qaeda still alive and running. Fought against ISIS. ISIS still alive and running. The notion that you can win a war by sheer force is wrong for the IDF, and it's certainly wrong for Hamas. So
I think that's it with regards to this video. Is there anything else we could?
sort of
I mean, I'm happy to just stay on.
for another couple of years. Unfortunately, until there is another spiral, then maybe then we'll be able to move
Have we still got Vlad and Tom the Don?
with different circumstances.
As well as
now, when I say
Gentai.
except there's a critical juncture, there are things in the war that could all of a sudden lead to a big change. If Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, is assassinated,
Which he recently was.
that will be a big ladder for Israel to climb down and say, we've defeated, we've won. And maybe then can lead to some sort of change. If
Like a
Netanyahu is
withdrawal, do you think?
yeah, possibly. Or some sort of regional agreement that would allow, troops from Arab countries to come into the Gaza Strip. If Netanyahu is assassinated, if something that, again, there's a lot of critical junctures that can all of a sudden change the trajectory of the way a war is going. So what I'm saying is that's likely the way things are going to develop based on how they are now, but there could be massive changes when something
No, you're
happens.
good. You're
That's
good,
my
man.
60 seconds on that.
Yeah. So without a
You're good.
big event happening, it just simmers down, and the soldiers sort of stay within Gaza and
I think that's
that
probably where we're going to end up in at least the foreseeable year or two.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. I've over. I don't pay overtime, so.
Oh, well, let me talk to you.
You too, yeah.
And again, if anyone has,
Yeah, I think Alan had to wrap it up for me because I was just rambling.
anyone watching this has any follow-up questions or stuff, feel free to reach out. I'm saying to both of us, I'm speaking on,
Sure,
on your
of course,
behalf too.
yeah.
You can catch us on our YouTube channels or by email, however you want to
Yeah.
do it.
So we're uploading this to both channels. If you're sort of watching this one, you did catch it at the start, and just jump over to the other one, check the other person out, subscribe and so on, and maybe we can do like a part 2 at some point. when you've
Based on
got,
the questions that come in, absolutely.
yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up then there.
All right, man. So we watched something else since we're on here. Might as well. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's just practice the skills, man. Right. Okay. Because I don't want you to see like too much in it. How do the pros do it? How do you? Can I get a chat? Okay, hide chat. Yeah, no, I can get chat on screen. I think if I build up like a decent following and stuff, and and I continue to enjoy it or whatnot, I'll like pay for stuff and whatnot, like to get rid of this StreamYard thing and like to share it on to have this live on Twitch as well and stuff, like I think I'll pay for a few of these things, but I need to show a bit of consistency first. All right. Oh shit!
All right, we are recording. I'm Jake Newfield, and this is.
I had some like separate videos, man. I don't know. They're quite long though. Should I? How best do I do this? I could end it now and then start another one. Yeah. Or should I just continue it? Yeah. Okay. So I'll show you guys the video in it that I've had on here because I've not watched it, but I know it's gonna be bollocks on the part of this twat. It is. Oh, sorry, I didn't see any of your comments because I full screened it. 1 second. Anyway, it's this one, yeah. I was thinking about because it's I don't know, man. It's just gonna be a lot of bollocks in it. I don't know. You should pop on more and chat about things. Yeah. I want to, man. Good company, thank you. Likewise. Oh, I can read a room. I like to think. Thank you. Streamlabs, yeah. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. I'll have a bit of a look into it. But yeah, a number of them similar to this one, StreamYard. If you pay a bit of a monthly subscription, you have access to other stuff where you can do more stuff basically. And as I say, yeah, If I'm a bit more consistent, which I plan to be, I'll do that. What time is it, man? 10 o'clock. This shit is 1 hour, so maybe I shouldn't do it today. Maybe I shouldn't do it today then, actually. Talk about stuff we need to get off our chest, yeah. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that. But also I'd like to just discuss it. I don't want to. Sounds like, I don't know, disingenuous, but I feel like I have responses and arguments to what I hear. Arguments without the negative connotation, you know, that word holds. And I'd like to hear like a response to them, similar to the video with Alon. Well, exactly that, actually, precisely that. But just need to do a better job last time. Okay, yeah. Oh, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking, Gentai? And yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool, yeah. Alright, awesome. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there then. 45, okay, 45 years young. Yeah. Yeah, thanks to everyone watching. Gentai, man like Tom the Don, man like Vlad, you know, whoever else dropped in and out. Didn't catch any other names. And if you're watching later on and whatnot, I'm planning. I'm actually moving apartments at the moment. But I'm gonna try and have like set up a decent setup where I don't have like this sort of green screen. I think I will do a reaction to this crap in the back at some point. Sorry, not the brother, the younger guy, just this freaking Mossad guy. Yeah. So basically things are going forward, and we'll see how it progresses. But yeah, now thank you everyone for watching, and you know, if you watch this far, let me know in the comments and whatnot. Standard thing, hit the like and whatnot. Mossad in the chat, let's hope not. Uninstall WhatsApp ASAP. Okay, cool. Thank you, Gentai. And yeah, take care. I might be on Sunday. I think I'm thinking of doing it every Sunday or something, but at least once a week minimum. And I'm gonna try and push out sort of clips and stuff just on TikTok and Instagram and whatever, just to try and reel in a few more people, so you know we can discuss and stuff. You know, ring next time, ring 3 times. Yeah, let's hope no one like that ever comes in the chat. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care. I never know how to end these things, so I'm gonna do it abruptly like now. Thank you.